you know I'm feeling some type of way. I wish I heard you say that maybe what I'm feeling isn't real and the ceiling is falling as my voice is calling for that feeling again. Wish me try to understand, but I can't possibly know.
What's up? How we doing? Oh, I gotta turn that gain up. Nice. Will you be able to read questions with your phone? Since mine is recording something else. Something like that? All right. Nice. What's up, everybody? All right. How's the sound coming out, Evan?
Should be good.
Should be pretty good. Are we in sync? Are the lips lining up with the audio?
Or you can check it, actually. Yeah,
It seems like it.
Looks good.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know what was up with that one time,
Nice.
but yeah, looks good.
Can you guys see this? Are you seeing this right now? Yeah, this is a black and white LPP G2, which goes so nicely with the new Prometheus 16 G2.
True.
Hopefully, all of this will be ready. I'm going to say late May, early June. We'll have this stuff before then. A little bit of testing and stuff will have to happen first, but me personally, I would rather just play it safe and say early June for the availability of these two products. This is not a pre-production sample here. This one should be pretty much official, but it's the only one that we have. The one that we were showcasing, Prometheus 16 before, was definitely a pre-production unit, which had hardware inside that we wouldn't use, and this stuff is very beastly in here. We've got the 13900HX in this laptop and a 4090, and it's doing very well. It's performing great, and this, to go along with it, I think it's beautiful. Evan has different thoughts on it. He's thinking it should be all white, but
Yeah, I want to hear everybody's opinion.
Yeah. But the whole black and white aesthetic, I think, looks pretty good.
Throughout the stream. Oh, sorry.
Let me just grab a towel real quick here.
I want to hear everyone's opinions because, as you can see on that side, it's black, and on the other side, it's also black, whereas in the middle, it's white. I want to hear everyone's opinions on what they think. I personally want to see both sides.
Like pretty much all white almost.
White,
right?
with like the top, like the cap and whatnot, as the black accents.
Right, whereas the laptop itself, like on the outside of it, if the lid's it's all white. And then on the inside, I don't know if you could see that. Yeah, the top cover is black along with the bezel. So complements it nicely, but depending on what angle you're looking at it, I don't know, there's going to be some opinions on this one because it is so yin and yang. It is so black and white. But yes, this is the Prometheus 16 G2. Very excited to, start getting these out the door. And the new LPP. This was the surprise that Will had talked about last week. And we just saw this. When did it? Was it yesterday?
Yes.
It arrived yesterday. So, yeah, I think it's beautiful. And one of the things that he was worried about, and rest assured we're good to go, was the white and the white. Like, not all whites are equal, and the whites match perfectly.
They do.
So it is really nice.
Yeah.
So if you guys have any questions about it, look forward to being able to answer that. We can showcase some games. We can use the stand.
Yeah.
It's a good idea. But yeah, we can run this thing through the ringer on some games as well.
I already started that up.
Nice.
I didn't touch it though.
Cool. You just had to open it up and let it rip then. Okay, cool.
What do we want to show?
Play whatever you want.
Ooh, X Defiant.
If you can get in.
I will.
Seriously?
Trust.
Okay,
Trust.
Cool. Exciting.
I updated it and everything beforehand anyway, too. Other people were saying all white, too.
We got all white in black. What was it? All of one or the other? What Evan said. Okay. Love to see all white, but it currently does match the laptop better.
A little bit. I just, in my opinion, where I'm coming from is that has too much black for how little it is. The laptop itself is a much bigger surface area to use up. And if you close it, it's all white except for the tiny little accents. When you open it, that's when you see most of the black. With that, it's a much smaller surface area to cover, color-wise. So I think having both of those big sides black is just too much black. But that's just my opinion.
What could be fun is if I get the boss's permission, I've already pulled the side panels off from another LPP, and I could take them home and paint them and see what it looks like. And honestly, we do stuff like this around here. That's the company is based on just trying things like this anyway. You should see some of the stuff that Will has done over the years, like painting heat sinks, and we're talking, 6-7 years ago stuff, but he's all about that level of customization. So hopefully we'll get the green light on that just to test it out. Me personally, though, I like it the way it is, but I also can appreciate where Evan's coming from because it is really good feedback, and it also is nice to see what people in the comment section will say as well. So. But this laptop, I want one of these so bad. I know Evan feels the same way.
Yeah, I love this.
It's weird for me to say that, I would probably end up buying one of these, even though I work here. That's how much I like it. I think it's a great-looking machine. Very nice display. It's very bright. And what did I say to you earlier today? I sat down in front of my mag, and after looking at this for a while, I immediately wanted to increase the brightness of the mag because I was so used to looking at this.
No, the brightness on this is like, even with the one we had before that we couldn't really show off.
Yeah.
Was first thing I noticed when I turned it on was like, whoa, it's real. Like, because I turn up the vibrance and the color anyway on anything I use. But like this just right off the bat was like, dang, that looks nice. It pops. It looks really clean.
Nice.
Yeah. But look at that. I already found a game.
Right on.
They fixed it.
Gosh, this is a lot better than it was
they fixed
last
it.
week.
It would take me all day to find one match. Now the sound... I don't know if they really fixed that since the last time I actually used it, but...
You do fine without it.
Yeah, it is what it is.
I don't know how well optimized this is. I'm very curious to see
we'll see.
the percentages,
right.
And wattage and usage.
See, they're agreeing with me.
This thing is great. Did you change some of this?
No, I don't know why that is, but I gotta like it.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Oh, I can't use my customers. Okay. Let's see what. I think we're all on like maxed out.
But yeah, if you guys have any questions regarding the laptop or the LPP, of course the LPP G2 that's white and black, this will be compatible with the other laptops. It's not just exclusive for this one. So if you have a Mech 16 and maybe you put a white skin on it or something like that and you want to complement it with one of these, this is something that would be available. It's not just exclusive to this particular chassis. I like the keyboard a lot on this. The membrane keyboard is nice. It is just 4 zones, so no per key, but it is a nice, very nice keyboard to type on. It's so different because my mag is mechanical. Everything that we're currently building right now is mechanical. So when I was clacking away on this today,
it's quiet.
It's very quiet.
I felt the same way earlier when I was kind of setting it up. I was like, oh, I'm used to the mechs again.
Yeah, I mean, take that with a grain of salt. If you're using other laptops that are relatively quiet, you might get on here and not really think it's a big deal. But we are like almost exclusively using mechanical keyboards in-house now, and that's kind of the way it's been for the last several months. So your ear just sort of gets used to that. So this is it's a big difference. And we're not building too many Prometheus or anything else. I mean, a lot of that's we've almost sold out on 12th gen stuff now, so it's very rare we see something like that come through to build. I mean, it happens, but it's mostly 13th gen. I cannot wait to play this game.
It's
I
fun.
want it to fully release, and I want to play it.
It's fun. I've never played this map yet.
What is the total wattage use of the whole system? Well, I mean, the 4090 is rated at 175 watts. I can't really confirm how well it's going to do in this game. I haven't really sat down and watched Evan play on one of our laptops yet to know what kind of expectations we can get from this particular game. But I've played it myself, and yeah, 175 watts, no problem. CPU, it just depends on what you want to set it at. Just because it's maxed out doesn't mean it's going to utilize that. If it doesn't need it, it's not going to use it, especially for gaming. But this basically works just like the Mech 16 and 17 does. It even shares a lot of the same components, which is really nice from a building and parts standpoint.
Oh, yeah.
These, I think, will be a little bit easier to build, though, because the way the bottom panel, it doesn't wrap around the ports in the back. It doesn't do that. So,
that's fantastic.
Yeah, like right now, we're using the LPP, and the whole bottom panel's not even screwed on. It doesn't need to be. Because of the way that it is designed, the LPP can connect to the back of the laptop without any sealing issues. So, yeah, it's just a nice little design change that he and I appreciate, you know.
Very much.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not too sure. I mean, power under load gaming, like, what's the max they can both use without thermal throttling? Like, be a little specific for me so I can kind of understand what you mean by that. Because I would say most air cooling laptops, after, I don't know if this is the answer you're looking for, but let me add something. Most air cooled laptops, when the GPU and CPU are just working themselves to death. Let's say you've got FurMark and Ada64 running, and you let that run for about 10 or 15 minutes, you're going to find the total power usage between the CPU and GPU combined can run anywhere between 180 and 230 watts, depending on what laptop it is. And I don't mean just our laptop. I mean laptops in general throughout the time that I was a reviewer. That tends to be the limitations of a heatsink on a laptop. Something that you can't really verify by running Time Spy. You really need to just saturate the daylights out of it. And I would say this probably falls in line with that. And of course, once you put the liquid cooler on it, you should be able to do a lot better. But it's going to be very rare that you would need to have a 175 watt GPU and, let's say, an 80 watt CPU at the same time. But I'm sure there's niche cases out there. So to those that need it, have at it.
Mm-hmm. No, it's in game. It's like really red. That character.
Leggy won't have a price on the Prometheus yet. We have to take delivery of that and then just kind of see what that whole thing is going to look like. Will has a price where he wants to be on this, and he has been vocal about that, but I really cannot confirm anything at this point. That was a week ago when he maybe talked about that a little bit, and that could change, very quickly, but this will be less money than the Mech 16 will be. And of course, the LPP will be the same price. So what that's priced at on our website, you can get the white and black one, same price.
Did we mention that this will have the 4060 option?
We did last week. It's good to mention now. Evan's got a good point. This Prometheus 16G2 will have the 4060, 4070, 4080, and 4090 options. So those looking to really get into it for the best bang for the buck, the 4060 could be it for you. As a matter of fact, that's going to be the one that Evan's probably going to lean into. I really want the 4080, but we'll see if I can sneak that one by my wife. I kind of want to see how the 4060 is going to do, though. Everything else, I kind of know what to expect. So
I'm only going 4060 because I don't need much.
Right.
I do more of my stuff on my desktop. So.
Right.
This will just be, it'll do what I need it to do. Music, games on the go, video editing, anything I need to do, CAD work.
Looks good. It's awfully quiet, too.
It is quiet.
for those that are just, stopping by and watching these streams, we appreciate it. And I will say this every time I get a chance. If you are a laptop gamer, then you're probably used to just really loud fans. Just similar to how I was saying we're used to mechanical keyboards, and when we went to a membrane, it's shocking how quiet that is for Evan and I. Mm-hmm. Well, it's shocking how quiet this laptop is. You can hear the LPP, right? I mean, right now, the system is pushing 190 watts through it at this time, just for the CPU and GPU combined. Any laptop on the planet that's combining that much wattage is going to sound like a jet. And this thing is very quiet.
Very.
I mean, we can max the fans if we want to, but it really doesn't give you much of an edge. But the LPP, it's funny how just some water flowing through, it really improves the thermal efficiency, which really actually tells you just how thermally inefficient laptops are by design. I mean, we're trying to cool something that's, a couple pancakes stacked thin. It's really hard to do. And NVIDIA's not being kind with the wattage bump every year, so it's really hard to play ball. But this solution is working very well. And to have temperatures, 70 on the GPU, low 70s on the CPU, it's not bad. Who knows how well optimized this game is, but 150 FPS. I'm guessing that's good. How does it feel?
Feels very good.
Nice.
And this is maxed out. So
is it? Okay.
Yeah. Everything's ultra to the highest.
Robin Sanders, I do too. I think the RGB on this, there's a lot, the evolution of this from the G1 to the G2 LPP is one of the most impressive things I have seen. It's very rare when the first gen of something comes out and then the second gen maybe will evolve or change up one or two things, and almost everything about this changed, and it's just really nice overall. It looks really good. I like how the RGB is applied all within Control Center. It's pretty easy to use, and this looks very nice. The live demo of this gameplay answers my power usage question. It doesn't really answer mine, though. I've seen this thing pull higher than this, but from what I can tell, this game's optimization is pretty good.
Especially for a beta.
Yeah. From a company that's, I don't know, this isn't something they're really well known for doing.
Tom Clancy.
But but they're usually third person, much slower paced stuff. This is like COD from 8 or 10 years ago. And I mean that in the best way.
No, yes. I'm with you.
Do you think you'll see the LPP being copied by other brands in the next couple of years? I don't know. I think that's going to come down to what we're going to see from NVIDIA and Intel and even AMD as far as the hardware. If they keep bumping up the wattage, I think others are going to have to follow suit to some degree. No pun intended, but as this stuff is getting higher and higher wattage requirements, we've got to do something. Or, and I'm not even against this, maybe laptops just, they don't go for the 80 and 90 series anymore. If a desktop 5090 requires 800 watts, but you're stuck with, again, 175, maybe 200 watts inside of a laptop, we have to pay for that 5090. I don't know if it's going to be called that, but then now it's running a third of the wattage. Like, that's not fair. We have to pay for that 5090. It's expensive. Just because it's wattage neutered doesn't mean we get a discount. Just because it's wattage neutered doesn't mean you get a discount. So there comes a point where you almost have to put a line in the sand and say, nope, I'm not going to do it. But if everyone else is going to do it, we have to do it too, because we want to be the best. We want to be the fastest. So
this dude sucks. campers. I guess I'm going that way. Switch it up. No, they're up there.
Leggy says, I personally don't like it being cheaper than the Mech. Well, we can up the price. Because I feel like it's worse than the Mech. Let's see. Well, it's basically a Mech 16. It's the same form factor, same motherboard, same cooling solution. The Mech 16 and 17 technically do support this keyboard. We just did not order it with that. We wanted to stick with the Cherry. So with this one, we went with the membrane keyboard because that's been a very popular request.
Yeah.
We thought it would be really cool to do that in a different laptop because right now we currently only have 2 laptops, so we need more. And when we originally saw this particular chassis in gray, we weren't feeling it. Evan was just super vocal about going white. We tried this. It was love at first sight. The lid is aluminum. It's very stiff. It's very sturdy. Nothing about this laptop feels cheap. If you like the Mech 16 from its build quality, this matches it, hands down. The glass trackpad, everything is very, very nice. The display in this is going to be the best display we will currently have offered so far in 2023. Try not to lean into that too much and say, oh, Bob said so far. I don't know what's coming down the pipeline. Will might. I don't. He's always trying to source the best of the best. And as of right now, this display is better, in my opinion. That's not even an opinion. It's factually just better than the Mech 16 and Mech 17. It's brighter. So it's really nice. 240 hertz, 1600p. The battery is smaller. Like, this is where we want to be able to offer something that is a little less expensive because not everybody's budget can handle, certain limitations. Everybody has this to some degree, right? So we thought we could have a really nice system, cut off a few things such as no G-Sync, no Advanced Optimus, and a smaller battery. Go with a membrane keyboard, which has been a very popular request, but have a very beautiful looking laptop with excellent build quality and nice color scheme and a really good display, and still be able to come in less than a Mech 16. So I'm having a hard time saying that this is a cheaper laptop from a quality standpoint because that's just not true. It's just more cost effective to the consumer,
Which is good.
which is always good.
I like it.
Yeah. I'd love to see a solution for external graphics
What I
cards.
just realized?
What's that?
We don't even have the RGB on the laptop.
Oh, is that on?
No.
I don't even know if they can see it. Can they? Oh, yeah, you would be able to see the back part of it.
Yeah.
How is that not on?
I didn't even realize.
Yeah, the RGB in the back and front is nice.
Is it on?
I don't know. Try toggling it off and toggling it back on. The thing about this is we don't have an official control center for this. We're using the test drive and the control center and everything from our other laptops. So there might be some things here that could get a little bit wonky. We don't have official
Yeah, that probably explains
software for that yet.
The keyboard's lit up.
The keyboard is lit up, yeah.
But the light bar isn't going. Alright, that's fine. We've seen it before.
Yeah, and it's pretty nice.
How's the bitrate look? I just want to look at that.
Yeah.
Ooh, it looks better so far from what I can see.
This looks nice.
Yeah.
You've got it set up pretty well, man.
Because like it always looked good when we weren't playing games. When we played games, it was like very digitalized and pixelated. So I wanted to fix that.
Any chance for a display like that on the mech series? Unfortunately, no. It's the way that the display and the PCB for the display and stuff work. It's not going to work in that chassis. Hopefully in the future changes can be made so that would actually work. But the way the lid and bezel and everything is designed on this, it can house certain panels that are going to have the PCB for the display located in a certain way, which makes these panels a little bit beefier and more fun, but unfortunately they don't work in the mech 16 and 17. It's just a design issue, and I think once panel manufacturers mature and they're able to get their design slimmed down a little bit, we might be able to see something like that in the future. Either way, that's definitely a topic and something that we're always pushing for, but we are at the mercy of what's actually available and what can physically fit. Trust me, if this panel could go in those laptops, it would have been in those laptops from the start. Mm-hmm. 17-inch version of the Prometheus. We have a Prometheus 17. End of life, though. You mean of something like this? This is already a 16. I can't imagine we'll go 17 on that. And there's a few other things in the pipeline for next year. But a Prometheus 17, I do not believe, is one of them. With that said, though, I would say, what's been the more popular solution? Do you think the Mech 17 more so than the 16?
I would say so. Yeah.
Like
not even like just 4090, just like overall.
We can't keep 4090s in stock. Mm-hmm. They're out right now. We don't have any. I said that last week. I said we were probably going to be out, and we are.
Yep.
We don't. Yeah. I'm trying to think, maybe who has a sample unit? There might be one or two out, maybe. We don't have anything in this building. So that's been very popular. For a good reason.
True.
It's very quiet at load, even on air. It's super tunable. They both are, but just that little bit more thermal headroom, bigger fans. It's a very, very good laptop for that, so it's nice to see people have caught on. Do we play RPGs? Well, you were playing Hogwarts. Does that count?
I can pull that up again.
I don't. I do not have time for that anymore.
What?
Can we change the text on the MSI Afterburner? Dark red is hard to see when he takes damage in the game. I think Ace, the thing is, he's just got to stop taking damage.
That's true.
That's the key.
I'm playing a little bit better.
Asking about trade-in for years. Currently, yeah, you've got that right. We don't do something like that. Having to manage that would be very challenging. And I've said this before on stream. In order for it to really make sense, especially in the beginning, this is my opinion, it's going to have to work like GameStop, where you buy a game for $60 or $70 and then you play it for a week or two and trade it in and you might get 20 or 30. And then GameStop's going to sit on it for 6 months as it depreciates while they're still trying to make money off of that. For those that want to trade in, it's a lot harder to sell a used like new computer than it is a new one. So in order for it to make sense with the company, we would have to give you half, for it to make sense. You're better off putting it on Facebook Marketplace. I know when I was reviewing hardware, I bought 95% of my review units and Notebook Review Forum. I was on there. Hardware or H, Hard Forums, what it was called, overclock.net. And I was established well enough on there to where I could list those things and get a decent bit back. Never what I paid for it, but
1 HP.
That really is the best method, I think, and probably will be for quite some time.
Do you want to try this game out?
Nope.
Okay.
No, I'd much rather watch you play and answer questions. Does look good, though.
It does. How are we not won yet?
Ace, no way GameStop gives $20. Yeah, you're probably right.
True.
It's bad.
Don't. Turned on. Oh.
It's fantastic.
How did you not kill my teammate? Oh, got him with a nade. Oh, I got 2 people with a nade.
The loudest thing in here besides you and me is your controller.
Yeah.
If anyone at all is concerned about the temps, you shouldn't be. And I ran this thing. Geez, how many hours did I run this thing straight, just
like all
cranking?
day yesterday and today?
And today, yeah. And then I closed the lid on it and shut it down, and it was just like 5 minutes later you came over and you're like, can I take this over to the studio? And you did. So this thing has had the snot kicked out of it. So for those that are just now getting into the stream and wondering, well, we need to let it heat soak, it's been heat soaked all day long. And this is about as warm as you're going to see it get with the LPP, especially if the CPU, I mean, if you're cranking the CPU up to 80, 90 watts while the graphics card's pulling 150 plus, yeah, you're going to see it run up to 90 degrees Celsius. But any other laptop would do the same with much lower clock speed. So either way, we win. And it's quiet.
I'll pull up Hogwarts.
But overall, Prometheus 16G2 I think is absolutely gorgeous. Will, if you're watching this, man, kudos to you. I did not see this coming. I know we had talked about possibly offering a skin solution for this. I can paint the sides if you want, just to see what that looks like. I am prepared to do that, but I love it. I think it looks good.
Why is the color?
We'll throw a hog. Maybe it's because you plugged it into Elgato.
It's been though. I mean,
Because it didn't look like this for me before. Oh, maybe you did a screen thing. Go to the control center.
oh, to ours?
Yeah. And then display settings.
I didn't touch it.
Hit restore. But it could be the Elgato too. I'd be very curious to unplug that and see if it changes the color. I have seen that before when I've streamed in the past.
Really?
Mhm.
That's taking a while.
Yeah, and who knows how well this is going to work. Again, the control center has not been built for this thing.
Because it's like really grayscale.
But it does have a very weird vibrancy to it. Yep,
What?
told you.
That is so weird.
That's what it was. Boom. Keyword is all
But
in
now
Bob of
now
all
it's-
trades. See?
Now it's all right. All right, let's see how that does.
High five.
Good
Nice.
I need to sign my.
Yes. Yes, we're going to do a screen change. You don't want to see the password. That's not fair to Evan. I did sign you out earlier. Did you notice at all? I was like accidentally kind of logging into your account because I turned on Steam. I wonder if you were going to call me out on that. I was trying to like, oh God, I got to log off.
No, I
Try to
didn't
sign in
even
myself,
notice.
but
I'm gonna have to.
is the 32 gigabyte 6400 megahertz ready? It is not, but man, I am having a lot of fun with some other memory DIMMs in another system right now, messing with the tuning and overclocking. So we've got some stuff pushed to absurdity right now. I don't know how stable it is. I'm going to test it over the weekend, but you guys can bring it up and ask me about it next Friday, and I'll let you know how it goes. But it's way higher than DDR5 is supposed to be.
Yeah, the stream quality looks much nicer.
It does.
Which is weird because last week I did an even higher bitrate. Last week I did 20,000. This week I did 12,000.
Looks great.
And it's looking so much nicer. It's weird.
Does the thermal design require the screen to be open? No, absolutely not. That is a fantastic question. I know, like the G14 and just some of the laptops that, yeah, look, I can go into this till I'm blue in the face. No, it does not. You can close the lid and just set this somewhere like a docking station and use it. It'll be just fine. Good question. And the Prometheus 16G2, the Mech 16 and 17, you can run with their lid closed. There might be a minor thermal deficiency. I mean, maybe just because it can't breathe through the keyboard, but you don't get a lot of air through that anyway. So,
Do you ever usually?
no, I've taken a lot of these apart, and you can see like perforations within the chassis and stuff like that. So there's a tiny bit of air.
I've always wondered about that.
Yeah, but it's
Oh, what about like the Clevos? Whenever I put an SSD in, those 2 holes underneath, what are those for? You know what I'm talking about?
which holes? The ones for the keyboard that hold the.
No, it's in that slot next to the battery where you put the SSD. It's like underneath there's like 2 screw holes. I don't know what those are for.
Show me.
I will.
Show me on Monday.
How's everyone's day? I hope everyone's having a great Friday.
I think we are. Weather's beautiful.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I'm going to shut this off. 36 minutes
Jeez.
for Winston. Hopefully my phone's not going to blow up now.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Sweet. Don't mind me, just got a message. It's disabled. Cool. Awesome. All right, sorry about that. Let's see, where were we? So we've got colors on this thing. Much better now.
Yeah, that was weird.
Thanks whoever called that out. I know Ace had mentioned it, but we were
Because I didn't even, it looked okay. I didn't even think really anything of it.
And then I'm wondering if Riva Tuner will hop on. Sometimes it takes a second. We may have to alt-tab out, but we'll find out. How would you go about cooling the RAM when it starts getting hot? I would have no idea, he says. So I have had a little bit of time into that, but not enough yet. There, it did pop up good. So I did notice, too, with Hogwarts, we may have to bump the CPU temperature or the CPU wattage up a little bit, but we'll see.
Whatever you gotta do.
I will see how it does here in a second. But, yeah, right now the 4800 megahertz stuff does not run anywhere close to being hot enough to be an issue. And the experience I have with the 6400 megahertz DIMMs, they do run hotter. I just need to have more time with it to see if there's going to be any throttling issues. I can physically touch them, and the DIMMs are warmer. Have I had any throttling or performance issues because of that yet? No, I have not. But I also can't confidently tell you that I won't because I haven't had enough time with it yet. For me, I want to have 50 hours into it, and I probably have 4. So, not too sure yet. But there's always tricks up my sleeve if it becomes an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see how GPU utilization is low at 75%. We may need some more CPU grunt.
Go ahead.
All right. Let's go 45. And I know we could just see how utilization already went up. For me, as somebody who spent an awful lot of time tuning laptops. I like to do incremental steps and things like this because I'm very curious to see how games are made, right? I want to see how Hogwarts does. What's the bare minimum wattage I need to, feed the engine the beans. So in this case, and this wasn't a lucky guess. Like, I have tested this a little bit in the past. I haven't played Hogwarts, but I've hung out with Evan enough to know that 45 watts on 12th and 13th gen is kind of the right amount for this particular game. So, at least from what I have seen so far. Other games like Doom Eternal, 20 or 25 watts, Battlefield, depending on if you're doing 64 or 128 players versus 32, more players, more CPU. You can get by with 35 watts in that game. Sometimes you'll need 45. I'm just wondering if a 4080 would be enough for me or if I would need a 4090. The 4080 and 4090 perform pretty close. It's like, 4080, 4090, and then 4070 is way down here. I don't know what the deal is there. 4070 is great as it's thermally brilliant, but this is performance we've seen before in a laptop, so not too impressed regarding that. And it's a shame there's a huge gap there, which tells me NVIDIA is going to fill it probably with a TI model next year, right? That's kind of what they do. So we'll be ready for that, of course, but for me, 4080 is probably my favorite. I mean, the 4090 is nice, and you get an extra maybe 3,000 point GPU score in Time Spy on average, that's a lot. So it's definitely worth it, but it's entirely up to you. The games that I really sit down and play do not require that much grunt. But then you get into the whole, future-proofing discussion. So 4090 is nice. Can't believe I'm saying that, but it is. Is there an issue just leaving benchmark mode on? No. Not at all. Other than putting maybe a little bit more wattage through the CPU than you would need to. The system can handle it. It's built for that. If you're fine with the temperatures being higher than they probably need to be, if you're good at tuning, like I am, I don't really need benchmark mode to get what I want out of the system. But will it hurt if you just always use this laptop for the next 5 years in benchmark mode? No. If that was the case, it wouldn't be in there. So you're good in that regard. And if you don't feel like tuning and you've got the LPP connected and you don't care that it's a little bit hotter, you just want to fire and forget. I just want the best performance I can get. I don't care about anything else. I don't feel like messing with it. Toggle it on, walk away. It's fine. This is cool. You were freaking flying around, man.
Oh, yeah, it looks great.
How high's the in-game skybox?
Let's find out.
I thought you may have been it. That's not even close.
Oh,
Holy crap. Not bad.
Yeah, can't go any higher. But, I mean, it looks fantastic.
And keep in mind, too, so this is at 1600p. And a lot of reviewers will benchmark, and I get why they do this, but they'll use like 1080p or 1440p when they're benching or testing or whatever they're doing, reviewing 1600p laptops. And that's fine. You just got to understand something. 1440p is only about 78% of 1600p, so there is a lot more pixels here. A lot more. So if you're looking at like what numbers we're getting on screen and then you're going back in your mental Rolodex thinking, well, I remember seeing numbers much higher. Well, it was probably 1440p. which doesn't seem like that's a lot more. I mean, 1440 versus 1600, but you have to do the math. Take 2560 by 1440, multiply that, and do the same thing again, 2560 by 1600p. The number difference is massive. So this is a big resolution bump. Doesn't seem like it, but it really is. Well, what are you about to fly into?
Things to pop.
Fun. Man, those look good. What a fun looking game.
Mm-hmm.
I use that switch instead of tuning. Saves me time and worrying. Robin Sanders, if that's what it's there for you, by all means do it. It's one of the unique things about the electronics laptops is there are so many ways to skin a cat. There's a lot of options here. And you don't need third-party software to exploit those. It's all built in here. If you just want to flip the switch, give her hell, go for it. If you want to dial in the CPU, go for it. If you want it to be loud as all get out, go for it. Quiet, I could go on and on. It's all right there at your fingertips. And so it's very compatible to many different people, which I think is quite ideal.
I don't feel like fighting these people, so.
There you go, man. Just carrying beats with the stick over
I
there.
always
It's
have
it.
a
Yeah,
beat in
always,
my
always,
head.
man.
Oh
Yeah.
no, I missed that balloon.
This is great. I appreciate everybody stopping in here today. Being able to use this laptop and spend as much time with it as I have today and a little bit yesterday with this LPP, it just gives me a lot of pride. You know, working here, I love what we offer. And then once I saw this laptop, and not only can I speak for Evan here, but even the owner of the company really likes this laptop. And that's saying something because he is very hard to please, and that's a good thing. When you've got somebody who's steering the ship and is always wanting better than what is out there, and he sees this, and I know he sees this in ways that I might not be. I'm sure he sees ways that it can improve. But when he smiles when he sees this laptop, that's a good sign. This is just a very awesome machine, and I'm so proud to be able to say, hey, I work here, and this is our new laptop, and I hope you guys love it. This is really awesome. And this liquid propulsion package, which a year ago I thought was going to be a disaster, and it hasn't. And that is phenomenal.
It's only gotten better.
It has only gotten better, yeah. And the fact that we've got the ability to connect these newer LPPs to the first generation LPP laptops. We don't have a lot of those left, as a matter of fact. I think most of those connections sold out. We might have 2 left. But again, for those that have a 12th gen or a Ryzen 6000 series LPP laptop and you want to use the new unit, you can buy the new unit, the adapter, and install the latest control center, and you're rocking and rolling. I mean, thermal performance-wise, they're essentially the same, but if you like the way this looks and you like the RGB, that might be enough for you to want to buy one. Just really cool that you can do that. So the back of the Prometheus looks good, but what does the rest of it look like? Oh, you want to see the rest of it, do you? What's the best way to do this without disconnecting everything?
I don't know.
How much wiggle room do we have back here?
Decent amount.
I'll be gentle.
Now again, the RGB light bars are off, so
Yeah. Yeah, there's a really nice... God, we got to figure out how to get that back on.
Yeah, that's kind of a big thing.
That is. Oh, I guess we could take this off. I mean, I could just as easily reinstall a control.
I'll, full screen it so I can see it better.
Nice. Get that gum out of there. It's embarrassing. Sorry about that, guys. All right. Yeah, this thing was on before, wasn't it?
It was.
Again, if you're just new to the stream, we do have RGBs in the back. We don't have a control center that's official for this laptop yet.
There are pictures in the Discord if
Yeah.
you're in there. I can resend them if you want, if you haven't seen.
The only thing I could think of would be to reboot it, which we could do. That wouldn't interrupt the stream at all, would it? Because it's tied to that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it. Oh, yeah, you want to exit out of here?
Oh, yeah. I can see you're good.
I'll wait for it to stop running, yeah. I wasn't stroking out, I promise.
There you go.
All right, I want to see if we can get the RGB back.
Just do it.
All right.
What'd they say?
Oh, no. Here. Hand this
Oh.
to you.
Stormtrooper. Everybody says Stormtrooper.
Yeah.
I respect it. Yep. Have you guys maintained a more directed to consumer approach? Have you guys maintained a more directed to consumer approach? Maybe this meant or.
Give me some examples. What do you mean? Or he did mean or.
Oh, okay.
Let's see if this thing's going to come back here. Let me try to get this back on. Come on, light bar.
Oh, he's talking about Amazon.
We sell on Amazon.
Mm-hmm. Is the chin on the bottom of the screen smaller than the Mech 16?
I don't know. I'd have to have a Mech 16 here, but it's just the way how the PCB kind of like folds and works.
We do not do Best Buy.
No, it's been in discussion, but
Oh, they want to see Warzone. I'll do Warzone after this real quick. And then we could probably just finish after Warzone.
definitely. Yeah, see, it doesn't even want to show.
Yeah, because it was on earlier.
Yep.
Oh, geez, it's not even like
No.
an option right now.
Again, we don't have official control center for this yet. There's no sense in even having one made at least for another week or two. Yeah. That's hilarious. What's really neat about the control centers is that once they are made for all the machines in the pipeline, the one control center just works for many different devices, which is why that one option was available. Now it's not. The CC doesn't know what the heck to do. So, yeah, you can fire up. Unless, I mean, you guys want to see this some more. I really like the keyboard. The edges of it are white. It is 4-zone RGB. The
Yeah, that's what they were
RGB,
saying. They said, oh, wow, the memory keys and the black insides looks amazing.
it's really, really nice. It has a very good look to it from, from when you're sitting in front of it. I think it looks really nice. Let's see, what else can I say about it? The keyboard travel's not very big. It's not a lot. I don't know what that is. Maybe 1.4 millimeters or so. I'd have to see if I can measure that out. But yeah, relatively shallow. Much more than the Max, though, right? In the Max line, yeah.
It's
nice.
been a little bit since I've
built a Max.
Yeah.
Good spacing. It's quiet. Of course, we've said that before, but that's the whole point of the membrane solution. Yeah. This looks pretty good.
Let me get Warzone going.
Kind of bummed, man. We couldn't get that RGB light bar up. I was just messing with it earlier today.
Because it was on, and then when I brought
it
it over, I restarted it to get rid of the whole activation crap. And then...
let me try...
Yeah, it's more, the white is more of the outside. It's only really on the outside of the keys on the inside, which is a really nice contrast in my opinion.
Yeah, see, it doesn't even know what it's doing.
Again, in my opinion though, LPP needs to be all white with, like, keep the top cap black, but make like these lines and whatnot, maybe black accent instead of that, and then the other side being black. Again, just my opinion though. Yeah, we don't do Micro Center or Best Buy. And that would probably be more of a Will question as to why.
Micro Center already has main gear, so they won't go with us. And yeah, I powered it off and then I turned it back on, so it should work in the BIOS, which is essentially what it's about to cycle through.
Wow.
And then we'll see what it does once Control Center takes over. And yeah, I mean, Best Buy has been something that's been discussed. It's just a matter of, can the deal work? Did you see that yet? Yeah,
that's nice.
If it ends up going to him, that's kind of cool. We can change that, oh yeah, look at that. So far, RGB is back.
By the LPP menu. Okay.
Yeah, we can see that.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat how the front edge of the laptop sort of tucks in a little bit.
It makes the glow really nice.
It's got a nice cast to it.
Yeah. There it goes.
All right, so pump. Pump is on. Rocking and rolling.
RGB's on.
Okie dokie. All right.
I think we're going to have to sign into Steam again. No.
Probably.
But we're good. You can do that now.
Yeah, while we're off screen.
Who do I have to sleep with to get a free laptop?
Probably John.
Yeah. I think John would be your best bet. He's a good guy. You're in good hands.
I'm going to expect a message any second if he's watching right now.
Have they been back yet at all?
I don't know. I'm sure they would have come in here.
Sure. Yeah, we were supposed to have Will today, but he decided he's too good for us.
He is.
I'll email him now. There you go. That's perfect.
Yeah.
He checks his emails very quickly. With your experience, could you shed some light on CL34 4800 MHz RAM versus CL40 5600 MHz RAM? I haven't been able to find anything other than RAM calculators which show them being roughly the same.
Well, let me get signed into Steam.
And then looking at the package, I think you guys hit the ball out of the park with this one. You don't agree with me. You like the black size. Okay. I just think it's too black on that little thing.
John just asked if we were still streaming.
But I mean, it's that's just my opinion. I mean, we were already going, because that's most likely what it's going to be. I was already saying, though, if I were to have that, I would take the sides off and paint them white, but...
If I have permission to do so, I will. All right, let me get back to that one question. Okay. I would say speed is going to be more important than cast latency, especially for Intel. Using software to calculate what's going to do better is, sure, it's quick and easy, but it's not really going to tell you. It's not really going to show you much, let's put it that way. Having faster RAM in today's laptops or in today's gaming computers in general is going to help with your minimum frame rate. You'll have a lot less just bottoming out. And I know you didn't ask, but the reason being is graphics cards have accelerated so much and advanced in performance, and CPUs really haven't. We've been able to get a lot more cores and threads, but the bare core performance has not had a massive bump in the last 10 years. Maybe it has doubled, maybe, compared to Sandy Bridge, 2500K, which was over 10 years ago. But GPUs are 10 times more powerful. So you've got this driver, which is the CPU, trying to be able to extract all the performance it can out of the engine, which is the GPU, and today's drivers haven't really got a whole lot better compared to the performance that's under the hood. So we're usually a little CPU bottlenecked, and this faster memory speed really helps improve that bottom end performance. If you're playing some games like Battlefield that's very CPU dependent, then you'll notice it. If you're playing Rocket League, you're not really going to notice it. So it'll be very game dependent, but go with the speed when you can.
I can't skip this.
Yeah, sorry about that, Evan. I should have actually fired this up earlier today.
It's fine. Usually they have a thing where you hold something down. But you guys get to watch a little movie.
Yeah. I also don't know if a lot of people would really notice that bottom end. Like for me, even when I'm casually gaming on PC, I still run Rivatude or Overlay, and I'm always looking at it, kind of like when I'm driving a car and I'm looking in the rearview mirror. Quite often, that's kind of what I've got going on here. So I do tend to keep an eye on that, and I can notice those things. Faster memory is good. But for those that really couldn't care less, the difference is still going to be sort of minimal. So 4800 megahertz is nice too, because it's pretty available. Samsung's got a lot of DIMMs out there, so you can buy those pretty easily. You still can't skip this?
No. This is crazy. Did it just like put me right into the campaign or something?
I don't know.
Because those are guys from the campaign, but I don't remember seeing this when I played the campaign.
This could be maybe some new stuff for Season 3.
Ah, you're right. I was going to say, I didn't even think this was a full game. I thought you only have the Warzone version.
I think I only have Warzone for PC, but I have the full game for the PS5.
Okay.
Mainly because one of my best friends, he refuses to play on PC. I know. What kind of best friend, right? I need to get a new best friend. Evan, what are you doing later? The guy only plays on console. My son has a PS5, so I play on that with him. So, Jim, if you're watching, that's you. Other than that, what do we got? Are there any changes to the Electronics Control Center that will affect previous laptops' new settings? Nothing really. As a matter of fact, this is a good question. I'd like to address something. So we, as electronics, tend to try to bend the rules a little bit. And sometimes companies like Team Green might give us a little slap on the wrist. So we'll have to take certain things away. And a lot of times we do not update control centers for certain generations of laptops because it might take a feature away. Is it a game-changing feature? Usually not. But anyone ever wondering like, oh, why didn't you update your control center? 9 times out of 10, that's why. Because what you've got is the best one.
Unskippable cutscenes would be illegal.
They should be illegal.
True. Usually I can skip them, but that one I couldn't. It was weird.
Another thing, too, with the temperatures, we're in the studio, and our HVAC is not completely hooked up yet. We actually do not work out of this building. We plan to in the future, but as of right now, this is the only finished room in this building. It has no air, no heat, no air conditioning. It's nearly all hooked up. We have lights shining on us and 200 plus watts and an ambient temperature outside of probably 80 degrees. So this is probably a little bit warmer than I think a lot of people would be using their laptops in. I could be wrong, but that's sort of my understanding based on the comment section that I've seen on my channel for the last 5 or 6 years. So maybe the temperatures that we're getting right now are a little bit warmer than what you might see. So that's just being a little bit on the optimistic side. But in case you wanted to know that, because I am getting a little warm. We've got hot air coming out of here. Hot air from this. It's blowing. No, it's all right. Okay. I don't want to let any dust in. It's dusty out there. I don't know. What is the ambient temperature? Oh, it's not too bad.
Yeah, but what does it feel like?
Mid-70s. Yeah, what is the real feel? I hate that they call it that. It's supposed to be heat index.
Down, go down.
74.
Oh, 74, all right.
It's not. It's a beautiful day.
It is. Very nice out.
But yeah, it's definitely a little bit warmer. If Farmer was in here right now, he would be freaking out.
It's taking forever to find you. Bob has all the pro tips. If you ever want a pro tip, don't go to me.
Yeah, I'm your guy.
Go to him. If you're on Discord, go to me first, and then I'll go to him.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, for settings, PL1, PL2, PL4, fans, all that stuff, I will always be your guy for that, for sure. As somebody who's been using laptops, that whole laptop life thing is real. I do not own a desktop. I know you love desktops, and you should. I mean, if you don't, need a laptop, why not get a desktop, right?
Mm-hmm. There's another question, by the way.
If I buy a bare bones laptop, how would I go about upgrading to the 6400 megahertz RAM later? Well, if we can get enough memory, or if we can make that work the way we want to, then perhaps we could sell it standalone. We'll see how that goes. The 16 gigabyte DIMMs, according to Will, these are finished. We're waiting on the 32s, and we'll see where it goes from there. If that ends up being something that we can sell to the customer, good. It's going to be very interesting, though, to see who actually buys that, because if they're not electronics customers, memory's not going to work. There was physical revisions done to the motherboard to be able to accept that 1.2 voltage. As a matter of fact, I am testing things far beyond what these should be capable of.
Right, today.
Yeah. And so that could be very hit or miss in various silicon lottery. So it's not really fair to use that as a baseline, so I won't. But our systems are built with the intention to be able to take that kind of memory. The issue right now is, can that memory actually be made? because that's pushing the limits of DDR5 for laptop memory. So this will be fun for me to watch.
Oh, it's gonna be so weird going from the movement of X Defiant to this.
This looks kind of slow and clunky.
It is slow. I mean, it's playing smooth, but like movement-wise, it's so much slower.
I want to crank up the CPU. Oh, this is going to be trouble. I might crank up the CPU wattage.
You might want to do it now.
Can I?
Probably.
All right.
If not, I'll just find a new game.
Let me put this up all the way. See if we can get.
Warner, is that the guy?
We'll leave that be
who
for
posted
now.
that
It still should be running.
Because I think I know what you're talking about. Because if it is, that's an impressive build.
I want to see how this is going to do a little bit before toggling super performance switch. It's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we should be able to get some more heat out of it now because we're going to see the CPU bump up to 70 watts sometimes. It's interesting. I don't know how many cores this is using, but it's definitely utilizing the ones that we're giving it pretty heavily. I enjoy this, man. This is nice to watch, kind of see how the game is optimized.
Right. Like in X Defiant, I was just slide canceling the whole time. I can't do that.
Can't do
now.
that at all.
Yeah, I mean, this is playing very nicely. And again, settings are...
They're up there, yeah.
I'm pretty sure as high as I can put them.
I think games like this, until they can really get multi-threaded going, are always going to have some sort of GPU utilization issue.
Get out of my lobby, child!
Nice job, Evan.
Jeez, get turned on.
And this is a crossplay lobby, isn't it? Like, you're not going to play against controller people. Yeah.
No, not just. Yeah, Werner, that build was really cool. Have you seen that?
Mm-mm.
It's in our Discord.
I'll check it
He
out.
like took the LPP, but then like modified it to where it's like crazy cool.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. No, I did not see that. I definitely would have commented. Sorry, I don't get on Discord much. For me, it's if somebody pings me on there and I'll get a notification, I'll absolutely check it. Or unless he says, hey, Bob, can you take a look at this or answer this or check it out? Whatever the case may be.
Right.
So yeah, this tells me that this is just not well multi-threaded at all. Like, I would probably get similar performance off of like a 4-core 8-thread system. It would be running at its maximum, but that's a shame. Not that I would complain with 100 FPS, but there's so much more headroom here.
Right.
Where it should be closer to 130 to 150 most of the time. This is actually part of that CPU bottleneck I was talking about. If CPUs could have kept up with GPUs from a instructions per clock standpoint, we wouldn't have this issue. So we have to rely on games being made for multi-threads and spreading that load versus just 4 really good cores. But this is, talking about this stuff, watching this, my favorite part about PC gaming. It'll never get old. I've been doing this way before I was Bob of all trades, before I had kids. I've got a teenager now. It's been a long time. I love this stuff. Ace thought he was playing PUBG. Yeah, the stream with Battlefield, about 45 watts max. Got the feeling from you that was high. Yeah, I'm a 64 player on up. I think is going to need some decent bit of wattage, but you can get by with 35 on Battlefield pretty well. That game is much better optimized than Warzone is. There's no question about it. Not that this is awful. It's not awful. You want to see awful, play Counter-Strike.
You'll see how CS2 does.
I doubt they'll change. I don't think they're going to use more cores than that. I'll bet you, though, with some of the graphics, though, it might use some more GPU, but we'll see. I don't think it's going to matter. That game is going to be insanely popular.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, watching this, I think we're just pumping needless wattage into the CPU at this point. We could probably still crank it back down and get nearly the same FPS. But as a result, though, with it up the way that it is, now you can hear the laptop fans a little bit.
A little bit, but it's not loud whatsoever.
No.
I mean, especially if you're going to use a...
Oh, even if you use the speakers, you could hear the game audio, but like a headset, like you were going to say?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Obviously, these guys might hear it because the microphone's right here, but...
Yeah, it might get picked up a little bit, but...
Maybe. I'm being hunted, Evan. You need to save me.
I know, I've been running away. I think he was trying to snipe me earlier. Because I was getting shot at, and I didn't want to deal with it. Oh, there's people down here.
Can the GPU utilization be tuned to 100% at all? No, that's not the system's fault. That's not... as long as... No, that's the game. Unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, there's probably ways around that. Let's say connect it to a 4K screen. This is why NVIDIA has been showcasing 4K performance since 30 series came out. They would love nothing more than to show you huge FPS numbers by doing 1080p, but they can't because the CPUs can't keep up. And even at 1600p, 1440p and 1080p are very CPU bound. 1600p starts to get a little bit better, but 4K is a massive jump. So if we were to go with like a 4K 120 hertz display, you would probably have like the same frame rate that you have now, but just higher GPU utilization. So that could be appealing to some, but there's a lot of instances where that just might be a trade-off not worth having. I mean, 4K on a 16-inch panel is kind of silly, but I mean, for text and stuff, font, it would look really nice. So I'll give it that. See, if it were me, I would have put C4 on that four-wheeler and just waited. That's my Battlefield instincts, just to troll people.
There's some... Oh, wow. FedEx just got here. It's 5:20.
Oh, jeez. That means Farmer's still here.
Yeah.
Yep, Blade 18 on Gizmo. Slip gets 150 SPS in Warzone. That could be a lot of things. I know Brandon very well. It could be a settings thing. He has a very specific thing that he does. As a matter of fact, God, when he and I were talking about that a while ago, he has a very specific thing that he does. I don't know if he still does that, but it's not like this where he's actually going in. I don't know if he's got a certain place that he wants to drop. He's very good about being very, very consistent versus us or just randomly jumping into a server. So I don't know if he's still doing that. I can text him and find out. But I like Gizmo Slip. He's a good dude. And the Blade 18, we had that here. We had that here against our Mech 17. And and we were with a we were
That
able
was the
to
really loud
yeah
one,
that was
right?
freaking insanely
Yeah.
loud, and it put up a pretty good fight. There was tit for tat when we could put the best foot forward on each system per the stuff that we were testing, whether it was just benchmarks and Cinebench. We were able to beat it, which was a pretty nice accomplishment, I thought, for, what did that have, a 13, was it a 950 HX?
I don't
I
remember.
don't know. But it was the loudest laptop I've heard in years.
It was really loud.
Yeah.
Yo, now the timing. Get out of my lobby.
Are you kidding me right now?
Suck.
You're ridiculous. Yeah, if he goes for max frame rate and all settings are low, so which is actually really cool. That's for a different perspective on things that are just less kind of cookie cut. I like him. Plus he enjoys games like Valorant. He plays on PC. I like that he's all about FPS first. He does play on low settings. Like, he pays a lot of respect for that kind of gamer. And I think a lot of people are like that. Evan and I have talked about this before. Like, he and I, we don't set everything to ultra. We tend to do like a nice balanced setup where it looks good, but we can still get good FPS. Am I speaking out of key here?
100%, yeah.
So I think Gizmo Slip does a good job of appealing to that crowd, and I don't think that should be overlooked. I would love to feature that more if I was streaming as often as he is. So I do like that about him very much. So somebody good to watch just to get some more data, you know. Feel bad, but yeah, Mike's just now leaving.
I was gonna say he never like came over to say bye or anything. I
No,
just
he's
realized
probably.
that. He's probably in Rocket League.
I hope so.
Yeah. I mean, he was doing that when I walked over last time when the Wi-Fi got disconnected. So I'd assume he's probably doing that.
Nice. Yeah, that's right. Our 4080 did go up against their 4090. That was how we did it. Yeah, good point. You got 4 kills?
Yeah. I swear I do better when I'm not even really trying with no sound or anything than I would if I were like actually trying to win.
Yeah, it's just no stress here, man. If you die, who cares? We'll move on to something else. But just saying, if you get 10 kills, I'll buy your lunch on Monday. I'm just saying.
Okay. I need more people.
This thing is glorious. You guys still see this?
Yeah, we can.
Nice. So those in the stream, what laptop? I'm assuming you're into gaming laptops, right? You're here. What do you guys currently? What do you currently game on? Even if it's not a laptop, what is it? We have a PS5 at the house. We've had for 2 years. I had a buddy of mine help me out with a Twitter link, and I was able to get one. Bought it for my son. He didn't play it much. I use it sometimes, and then I use a lot of different laptops from work, which is really nice. It's a cool perk of the job, but a lot of times I'm problem solving and trying to wrap my head around X, Y, and Z so I can better support our service center, the customers, and the company in general. So I do put a lot of time into these systems for that reason. So not to brag, but it's pretty awesome. I do enjoy that. And then I have a Mag 15 with a 3070.
Yeah, it's a 3070.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's been a great laptop. Year and a half into it, I've beat it to death, and it's given me no problems at all. Acer Nitro 5, 9th gen, 1650. Right on. So I can understand your excitement for a new one. Absolutely. Yeah, because that's probably got, is that got a thicker bezel on it too? Did they change that for maybe 9th or 10th gen? I don't know if that still has a thicker bezel or not. I feel like I reviewed, what FPS would you get if you switched to 1440p? Oh man, you don't want to switch to 1440p on a 16 by 10. It looks awful. It is such a skewed, ugly image. But maybe if we hooked it up to an external display. What are the displays by your area? Are those both 1080p or is one of those 1440?
I think they're both 1080. I think one is just 144, one's
Gotcha.
a 240. Yeah, that's what it is. The one on the right is a 240. The one on the left's a bigger screen, but 144.
Yep. Yeah, you would want to find something that would scale nicely to 16 by 10. If you ran 16 by 9 native resolution on a 16 by 10 display, it's going to look real scrunchy and dumb. But on an external monitor, you could expect a bump. See how you're in the water, now GPU saturation's back up? That's funny. Zephyrus M from 2018, 8758, should have 1070. That's a good laptop still. That's awesome. What, 1080p? Maybe, right? And 120 hertz or something? Maybe? Mech 17, 12th gen, 3070 Ti. Dude, you're set. Great laptop still. Oh, yeah. Hey, you're good to go for a while. I'm quite fond of the 3070 Ti. Yep, 1080p 144. That's awesome.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm trying to find people, I swear. Yep, I made it.
Whatever, that's nice. Not the fat bezel on that one. Okay, so they did change it. The cool thing about the fat bezel laptops, there's one thing, is you can change the display on them really easily because they're still clipped on, and you can just grab like a guitar pick and just rip the bezel off and throw a new, faster display on there, which I used to do pretty often. The thinner ones, it's a headache. They're adhesive that holds it on. But other than that, that's really the only win for the thick, chunky bezel laptops.
There you are.
Oh!
I was looking for him.
Whoops.
I knew he was there. I had to flank him.
Yeah.
He wasn't ready for it. Sorry, bud. All right, I'm halfway to free lunch on Monday.
Yes, sir. Yeah, guys, once Evan dies in this game, then we'll call the stream quits, unless you guys have a bunch of questions right now, and then we can sift through those towards the end. But we've been at it for an hour and a half, probably.
Probably,
yeah,
at this point.
I don't want to leave. I love this. I love this laptop. I don't want to go.
Hey, HD TV. That's not a 24-inch. Get out of here. That's huge.
I'm going to laugh if you get blasted right now.
I just saw HD TV, and then I saw 24-inch. I was like, no.
10th gen GF65 with a 3060. Fans are loud. Could repaste that one. Use like Phobia nanogrease on that because the heat pipes on those systems are really long and there's some flexibility, so a thicker paste would go well, or like Icy Diamond 7. And then use the advanced BIOS. Go in there and undervolt it a little bit. Can maybe make it a little bit quieter. Gonna go from an office laptop i5 integrated GPU to a 4090 Mech 17. Yeah.
What am I getting shot at from?
That's a big difference.
Genuinely?
Yeah, where
am I
is
getting
that
shot
coming
at
from? Is somebody in that tower over there? Nope. That's dumb. You're in the circle, though, so that's good.
I saw him.
Put your kill streak
He's
on
sniping from up there. Screw that.
him. He's out of bounds anyway.
I could use my precision, but I don't really want to.
He's
him.
probably going to die out there anyway. Right? Hopefully.
You would hope so. I just see something. Oh, there's a coat.
Yeah, Werner, that's not even right. I mean, a office laptop to like the fastest laptop. That's
It's not up there anymore.
going from a Ford Escort to a hot rod. Good for you. That's awesome. Right on.
Oh, a circle.
Yep.
I wanted to go. Oh, hey, bud. What?
You had him.
How weak was he, though? How did he just know?
He was kind of tracking you. Maybe you were clot hopping away or something.
He was one.
Oh.
He was one shot. No.
You did good, man. You did great.
Thank you.
Evan with the controller, no audio, chit-chatting with us.
Damn. I'll take it.
Yep, this is why I got to put you in the driver's seat every stream. Do we run mods on any games off stream? I don't. Evan, what about you?
What?
Do you run any mods on any games?
Oh, I mod the hell out of Fallout series games.
Yep.
I'll mod any game that I can mod. Any game that I can mod that has good mods, I do. Like
Nice.
I've done Skyrim, Fallouts, Euro Truck Simulator, anything that has mod support and like people are making quality mods and not just garbage.
Yeah.
I'll most likely mod it. I like the rule of thumb, like if you're playing a story game like Fallout, my biggest thing was I played Fallout 4 vanilla, just straight up the game, just so I could play it, see what it's like. After that, I went crazy with the mods, because with the mods, people are continuously pushing them out to where you can install certain mods to where it's just like a completely new game almost every time you play. So, I'm a big fan of modding stuff, but depends on the game and how well it runs. Because a lot of times it's a hassle, because if you do a lot of mods, then you got to think about the load order, because it may crash. It may not even open with all the mods that you have. So I've done a lot of trial and error on Fallout 4 of one mod maybe corrupt or something and everything else doesn't work, and the game will boot up and then crash, and it's frustrating. But the more you do it, the more you know what works and what doesn't, and then you can look at what other people are saying about it and all that. So adding entire cities to Fallout 4, what is it? Sim Settlements, my favorite mod, because for a while it's like you could put so much time into settlement building to where it's like you play the actual game for like 20 minutes, but you're settlement building for hours, like you would do with custom character customization. It's the same thing essentially. But what this mod does, it allows you to put things down, so like a residential plot, and you put that down, you assign a settler to it, and they'll build it, they'll upgrade it over time, and you can put them onto gardening, and they have their own specific plot of land that they'll garden and all this stuff with. It's really cool because you can go to one settlement, go play the game for like 2 hours, do your own thing, go back to that settlement, and you have new houses built, you have houses upgraded, you have new businesses that went up, because it's just an automated system essentially. Instead of you having to do this all the time, it's like you put them down and then you leave, and you just let the NPCs essentially just run their little town.
That's
I mean,
crazy.
you could even, people make things to where you can assign one of the main NPCs as like a mayor to that settlement, and they will control everything. Like you don't have to do like anything to that once you put a mayor on there. It's really cool. Yeah. Like I'll go back, and it's just like
You have a lot of time in that game.
too much time.
Yeah.
It's just like flat land, and I'll put all these things down. I'll leave, and then it sends you notifications like, oh, someone made an upgrade to their house or whatever. And I'll go back, and all these lights are up. I'm like, cool.
Holy
This
cow.
is awesome. Like it's that mod is probably the biggest mod that like kind of just changed the game for me. Because you could put so much time into building settlements, but this allows you to just kind of design it the way you want, put stuff down, and then just let them take control, and then you just go do whatever you want to do.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. But
Well, shall we?
yeah, I think
Well, thanks, guys. If you have any more questions or if there's anything I missed in the comments section, I'll be able to address that. Usually, once we stop the stream, it may take at least 6 hours for it to process, and then all the live chat feed will be back. So if there's anything I missed, I'll be sure to address that, but usually we get by.
yeah.
That's it. Yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Thanks. Peace out.